Come, let us explore how our ego is a trap until we learn this. Wrong button. Let's try that again. Okay, fourth time's a charm. So let's see. Where did the question mark get off to? There it is. Okay, what is ego? So in Freudian psychology, ego is a good thing. Ego is the mediator between the two extremes of ruthless primal drives and reckless idealism. In contemporary psychology or neo-Freudism, ego is become equated with pride or a overinflated sense of self or self-worth. So I think it's easier, there's less confusion if we just replace the word ego with pride or conceit. There, one of the telltale signs of someone who has taken a wrong turn in their meditation training is that they try to tame their pride through self-denigration. That spreads like a disease or like a mold in a cabin in the woods. And they use denigration to deal with whatever comes up in their mind, thus entrenching themselves deeper and deeper into the fundamental duality of pushing and pulling. The seventh enlightenment factor. The seventh enlightenment factor is equanimity or balance. And it can be metaphorically applied to having one antidote for all that ails us. And that antidote is the twofold process of mindfulness and meditation. With mindfulness and meditation, there's no pushing and pulling. There's no labeling. When something's bad, we label it this. When something's good, we label it this. When something is painful, we label it this. When something is pleasurable, we label it this. Do you see a pattern here? Of course you do. And so when thoughts or feelings of conceit rear their head within the confines of our skull, rather than scolding it or arguing with it or repressing it or indulging it, all we have to do is practice mindfulness and meditation. All we have to do is notice it in harmony with our inhalation and relax in harmony with our exhalation. We'll explore that in greater depth in a few minutes. You can always tell someone who is scared of conceit by the way they take a compliment. Either they will gobble it up aggressively. Of course I am, and you should be ashamed to even not be as awesome as me. Or they'll say something like, oh, no, I'm not. Or they'll find something else to denigrate themselves for, hoping that will make them humble. There's an old saw, maybe you've heard this before. Hey, I'm not going to say some people have difficulty taking a compliment, but I told a woman I loved her shoes, and she said, "Thank you, but I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die." Clearly, that was a reference to a Johnny Cash song. So we don't need to take refuge in uh, repression or self-denigration. If the only thing we take refuge in is mindfulness and meditation, then mastery of the path will be quickly accomplished. And the problem will not be the presence or absence of conceited thoughts or feelings or impulses. The question is, what do we do with them? And the answer is why we notice them and let them go. Having completed our opening lesson, it's time for us to shift gears. It is Rey Skywalker's Sunday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Renegade Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyper-focus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. We turn now to the latest iteration of very easy meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. Together, let us relaxingly recite. Whatever comes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever stays, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever goes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Welcome to the first quarter of this morning's group practice. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up, in our lap. Doing so could gently invite or real or imagine subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the crown region of our head. As promised, let's review the I have trouble pronouncing that word sometimes. Intricacies of mindfulness. You see, every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, evolution has already wired us to automatically access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This sympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way. To notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which, as you can tell, is the opposite of the rigidity and controlling tendencies driving concentration. What then are we to do with that which we notice? Why, we meditate. But how does that work? Every time we exhale, we are already wired to automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of the same spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So now that we know that there is an alternative. One moment, I gotta do an edit here. Please bear with me. Let's hit cut. And go over here a few pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. Okay. Oops, that was an error. Okay. Let's hit paste. And cut. and adjust. Splendid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, here we go. Thank you for your patience. Okay. So, rather than competing against our autonomic nervous system, how are we to cooperate with it? And the answer is quite simple. By silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, and by silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Together we could do this as a team. Now, the moments The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. Welcome to the second quarter of this morning's group meditation. Upon the tip of our left little finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Let us begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics, such as perception. Sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. What are we to do with that which we notice? Why, we meditate. You see, every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are already wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. How then are we to cooperate with this autonomic nervous system? Simple. During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease. We could do this together as a team right now. Welcome to the third quarter of this morning's group meditation. Upon the tip of our left middle finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, palms up, in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the heart region of our chest. Let us review mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all manner of phenomena, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. What are we to do with all that which we noticed? We are to meditate. You see, every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, our parasympathetic nervous system supports both our physical relaxation as well as our mental release. How can we better cooperate with these two facets of our autonomic nervous system? By silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, and by silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Welcome to the final quarter of this morning's group meditation. Upon the tip of our left ring finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Let us review mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice dualities, such as lack and boon, pain and bliss, scorn and praise, shame and fame. What are we to do with these dualities that we observe? We meditate upon them. You see, every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So how are we to cooperate with both facets of our autonomic nervous system? Simple. During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.